Welcome back to my live talk. My name is Edmar Mac. This live talk is all about exploring entrepreneurship and the leadership mindset. Today, we are talking about taking specific action to achieve your business goal. My guest today is Peter Wood. Peter Wood is business coach and entrepreneur. Welcome to this live talk. How are you today, Peter?
I'm very good, Edmar. Yourself?
I'm always good, especially when I'm talking to people who is
That's good.
full of knowledge and experience to share with us.
Well, we'll do our best for sure.
Mhm. So, Peter, today we're going to be talking about specific action we can take to help us reach our business goal.
Yes.
And I feel that you are the right person to help me demystify all these secrets and techniques to help us achieve what we want to be in our life. Specifically looking into business side, many of us want to start a business, especially now. I believe this is the right time to start a business. So before we start a business, I believe there's a few things that we needed to understand to make it right. Not easy to make it right for us to make a right move. We might make a mistake, but at least we know that some of the mistake we can avoid because we have someone or we have some right knowledge with us. So today we will be demystifying and talking about all this action we needed to take to help us to achieve our business plan. But before we get into all the action, all the technical side, I want us to get to know you a little bit more so we can create a picture of you. So can you share with us a little bit of your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've worked in lots of different industries. I've worked in recruitment and in life insurance. I was qualified as an independent financial advisor, and I hold a certificate in mortgage advice and practice. So I can qualified to give advice on mortgages. I don't use those these days, but they're brilliant pieces of background information to have and to consider. Um, I've worked for the banks and the building societies, and yes, 30 years ago ran a national lending scheme for people who are building self-build properties, so that they weren't necessarily property developers, but they wanted to build their own home so that they got the home that they wanted. So I ran a national lending scheme 30 years ago in that respect, and got a good understanding of building techniques and what people needed to be looking at when they were building. I worked then for a company that lends money to people who couldn't get finance from the banks. So I went from working from the banks to working for somebody that backed up the people that wouldn't get lent to by the banks. These people maybe didn't have a good financial track record, or they maybe were the first time that they'd gone into business. It could have been that they were going into an industry that the banks thought was particularly risky, for example, pubs or restaurants or the likes. So all of the employees at the company were trained as business coaches, as business advisors. So I hold a qualification from the Institute of Enterprise and Entrepreneurs, if I can manage to say it, Enterprise and Entrepreneurs, as a business advisor for small firms. And in this instance, they considered small firms as being firms employing up to 250 staff. So I've held that for a number of years, and I've worked in a number of different industries as a result. I've worked with manufacturing companies, software solutions companies, an accountancy practice, small businesses, beauticians, and the likes, and I've got a really good grounding in various different businesses as a result of that. I've been self-employed myself for 4.5 years, delivering marketing and business development for companies, doing this sort of business coaching, making sure that people are taking positive actions with their businesses. Some non-executive directorship work with firms when that relationship's gone a little bit further. with a non-exec role, you're responsible for making sure that the board are taking right actions. They understand what the actions are that they're taking, and making sure that they're taking them for the right reasons. So that takes the business coaching to a higher level than just coaching. You sit on the board of the companies. So I've done all of those different things. It's part of some of my business things now. I sit on a panel of Dragon's Den for the University of Essex, where they have a seed corn fund for budding businesses within the university. And I sit Dragon's Den style to decide the quality of those applications for grants and for loans, and then work with some of the people on a mentoring basis as well. I now invest into property myself. Excuse me. I am a property investor, and I spend about 50% of my time in property and about 50% of my time coaching people, helping them, supporting them, giving them a guidance, making sure that they've got their business plans in place and they understand that, and they've got the actions that they need to achieve those business plans, and then
Okay.
working with them regularly to hold them accountable for the achievement of those goals and actions.
Okay. Well, that's a very structured and a good background.
Thank
So,
you.
for what I understand, you were working for some of the top company from banks and many industry. So why leaving all of them going solo trader when the security, the salary is coming every month?
Okay, this is a very good question. And I must confess that as somebody that had worked with a lot of companies where the person had struggled in business, I did wonder why I would want to go self-employed. Honest truth of the situation, at the age of 50, I was made redundant. I was applying for jobs. The reason I was made redundant is the financing of that company was done through county councils and the likes. And when the recession hit, that funding was immediately cut. So I applied for other jobs, and I regularly got told that you've done really well. We had 250 applicants. You're down to the last two, but we're going to give the job to the other person because we think you're too qualified. You've got too much experience. And I never really believed that could happen to anybody. Why is there such a thing as too many qualifications, too much experience? And yeah, I can understand that possibly people who might be your boss could feel threatened if you've got more experience or knowledge than them. So I took the decision at that stage. Okay, I'll go self-employed. I spoke with a number of different people. I'm a big networker, and I was at a business exhibition at that point that I was taking that decision, and somebody said to me, I know you through your work, I know what you're like, I know you through your networking, and I will immediately give you a contract as a self-employed person to run some networking for me, some training, deliver some marketing. And at that point I thought, do you know what, if I don't do this, I'll never know whether I can do it. And I think that's a great point for many of us. If you're thinking about being self-employed, it could be the situation that you're thinking, can I do this? Can I not do this? If I don't give it a try, I'll never know whether I could have done it. I could then spend all my time working for different people, working on making them financially more secure. Yes, getting a decent wage myself for the jobs I was in, but sometimes you've got to take a chance, take a step, and kind of go, yeah, I am going to give this a go. I'm going to give it a proper go, but I'm going to give it a go.
I love that. That gives me some energy, because I believe if you don't try, you will never find a taste of it. You might have
Absolutely.
some vague idea, but tasting it and knowing it, you will never until you try it. So yes, and one thing that we could I should ask you from the beginning, but I just left it for now. From all your experience, how do you define success for you?
Success is different for different people. Um, Success generally, uh, if you've achieved your goals, then you've achieved success. Um, and those could be big goals, that lifetime goals, lifetime ambitions, or it could just be what you've wanted to achieve this week. So for me, my success is different in different areas of my life. Um, I look at success in being healthy, success with my family, that my family is close and is a successful family. We have a great relationship. Business wise, yeah, I've got success that I need to achieve this week, this month, this quarter, this year, in 5 years' time. Ultimate business success for me would be to be time and financially free. So this doesn't necessarily mean that you've £1 million in the bank, £5 million in the bank, £10 million in the bank. Financially free doesn't necessarily mean what cash you've got lying around. Financially free and time free means that I'm earning sufficient, either actively or passively. So getting money directly or money that I'm picking up from business that I've done previously. And I can then choose when I work and when I don't work, where I work from. So that's my ultimate business goal, is to be time and financially free. I can choose when I work, when I don't, that I've sufficient money to live a comfortable lifestyle, do some of the lovely things that I'd like to do. I've traveled some, but I would love to travel more, see different countries, different lifestyles, different cultures, different food, just enrich myself with lifetime experience from around the world. But at the same time, I would love still to be delivering back to other people. So if I can be time and financially free, I would love to coach 10 people, a dozen people at a time, um, on a one-to-one basis, so that they could also become time and financially free, achieving their business goals, whatever they might be.
Okay. Well, one of the questions that I always like asking people, because what you putting down is that I feel that you have a clear definition for what is very important for you in life.
Yeah.
So for you, having time to spend with your family, being financial free is the top priority for you in life?
Yeah. Yeah. It is. But it couples with family relationships, so that yes, my wife and I are getting on well. That we've been together lots of years, too many years. I've seen somebody before go say, "Well, how many years have you been together?" And you start to go, "Well, too many." But um, it's nice to have those relationships. I my son is currently living in Canada, but we speak to him at the minute on a daily basis as to how things are going, and enjoy living a little bit of our lives through him, where he was working out there as a ski instructor, and hopefully will be doing so again this coming winter. But the fact that he's spending his time working as a chef currently, but also getting out in the mountains and seeing the wildlife, and being active as well. So taking the Canadian canoe out up the rivers and up the lakes, and going mountain biking. So it's great that we also have that relationship where we can live a little bit of our adrenaline lives through our son.
Okay, yes, it is good to know that he's enjoying himself.
Oh yes.
That's all.
Yeah.
Life is all about enjoyment. If you find enjoyment in whatever you do, you should do
Yep.
it. So
Absolutely.
yes, now we talked about your value and or about your mindset. Now let's deep into the business. One of the things that I notice is that many people, many business people or business coach, I talk to them. One of the first thing they ask is about clarity and the direction. So for you, what is the value of having a great clarity and the direction to start your business?
You've got to know what you want to achieve, not just from your business, but in life. Now, that clarity and direction can change. That's happened in my own business a few times, in that I've developed exactly what products I'm giving, what offerings I'm giving. They've changed slightly as my own circumstances have changed and my own views have changed. But you do need that clarity of thought, and certainly one of the first things that I would do with anybody that I'm trying to build a relationship with to coach them would be to try and understand what their own goals are, what they want to achieve in life. I would not want to coach somebody that I didn't believe in, that I thought that no, that we don't have a parity in where we want to be in life, that we don't share values. I would prefer not to coach somebody who maybe would sell something to somebody without believing that that person really wanted it. That wouldn't be for me. I've been in industries like that. I've seen it. It isn't something that I like, agree with, or whatever. So having an understanding of the person to me is very, very important, and making sure that they have some degree of understanding as to where they want to go. But as a coach, it's very much part of my job to get the person to bring that out from them. So quite many of us don't really know what we want to achieve, don't really know what our goals are, don't really know what our actions should be. We kind of think we do, we bumble along, but many of us are so close to our own businesses, we can't see the wood for the trees, or putting it a different way, we can't see the whole picture because we're inside the frame. So actually having a coach can allow you to develop your own thought process in order that you understand for yourself where you want to go, what you want to achieve, what's important to you.
Okay. So for you, the first impression, the click you get from them, that's the drive that continue building the relationship with them. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie, if I can put a comparison to it, if you were going dating, you'll get this initial attraction. If that initial attraction's good, then you might develop into a relationship, and therefore that might become a long-term relationship. In exactly the same way, if I was looking at somebody who'd said, would I coach them? Yeah, we would have to see if there's an initial attraction. Do we seem to click to start with? Is there something there that we can work together and go forwards and succeed together? Because I don't feel that I would have succeeded unless my coachee, the person that I was coaching, if they hadn't succeeded, I haven't succeeded. I want to share in their success, and I want to celebrate their success with them, and therefore I see it as a long-term journey to make sure that I achieve my goals by them achieving their success.
Okay. Just to make just to make it very I like easy, even though easy go easy, like easy come, easy go. But still I love easy, yeah. So just to kind of like create a picture or characteristic of the client. So how will you know if the client is the right one for you? Is it the way they dress, the way they talk, the mindset?
It's a group of all of those. I like you say keep it easy, because yes, I'm very much a believer in keeping things simple. Some of the business plans I've seen in the past will be hundreds of pages long, and it's far too complicated. It does need to be kept simple. So how do I know? Does it matter what I dress like? Yeah, lots of people comment on I do wear a number of fairly loud shirts. This one's quite subdued for me, actually. I seem to be having a quiet day. Not always in the loud shirts. And yes, I do put a business suit on if I'm meeting people in the right occasion. And indeed, I actually sit as a justice of the peace, as a magistrate here in Suffolk. And yes, if I was sitting to court, I absolutely wouldn't turn up in a shirt like this, I would have a jacket, shirt, tie on. But I've also been trained as part of my justice of the peace sitting not to judge a book by the cover. So a defendant might walk into court and they might have an impeccable suit on. And you might consider, well, this is an upstanding person. Not necessarily. So another person might walk in grey joggers, sweat top. One might consider that they're not quite as an upstanding a person, that they're not quite as well up in society. That's not necessarily the case. So we shouldn't judge the book by the cover. It's more about what's in here, what's their mindset, what's their personality. If that person is a little bit, oh, you know what, I don't really want to be doing this today. I don't think this is a good thing for me. I really need your help because I'm not a positive person. That could be a challenge to work with that person and get them to sit up straight and smile and deliver. But they've also got to be of a mindset where they would be willing to receive that coaching and assistance to change them into a more positive person. You and I know a number of people together that have changed massively in their mindset in the last 6 months. And it's such a glorious situation to see somebody on that journey where they weren't quite sure about themselves, but all of a sudden they're becoming a really good business person, entrepreneur who is achieving things in their business and in their business life. And that's the sort of person that I'd like to work with. Somebody that wants to achieve, wants to go somewhere, wants to do things for themselves and for their family.
Okay. Yes, now I got the picture. So for you, they needed to know where they're going, but they also needed to be flexible to adjust.
It helps to be flexible. Life will always throw obstacles in your way. Now, if you cannot be flexible to overcome those obstacles, whether there are objections in selling, whether they're difficulties, whether it's actually just your own simple mindset of, do you know what, today I don't really want to get out of bed. I don't feel great. As a self-employed person, sometimes you've got to say, do you know what? I am just going to get up, get on and do things and be positive about it. Sometimes, yes, you do need to relax. If you're not well, you need to take a backward step and take time to recuperate. But many of us that are self-employed will still kind of go, I can't quite switch off. I've got to just keep going that little bit. I really value the balance between my family and my work life and my social life, and getting that social life, work life, family life balance correct for me is very important. And flexibility in all aspects is required in order to achieve that.
Yes, I like this. That's very good and that's very clear. And I can see a lot of people, they kind of, not in negative way, but it's too focused in trying to get something that kind of like they sell their soul, and they forget about everything around them, forget about having time for family, balancing work with play. So life is all about balancing. Talking about balancing, because you mentioned balancing, one of the things that I believe you apply is strategic peer pressure.
Well, not pressure, but assistance. But I take your point. I host a self accountability group, and yes, we had a Zoom meeting this morning where there was a number of us on chatting about what was going well in life, what wasn't going well, what was going well in business. This is not something that I'm paid for or charged for. We're all people that are working together to support each other. So it's not peer pressure, it's peer support. And I think that's quite an important thing. A lot of the people in my network are people that are willing to help other people. They won't do things in business to the detriment of others. Sometimes, somebody wins, somebody loses. That's life. So if I get to buy a particular property and somebody else doesn't, I've won. Um, that's not being detrimental to the other person. That's just life and that's business. Um, but yeah, helping each other is something that's really important, and certainly one of my own business coaches. So I'm coached by a number of different people as well. I'm not a business coach who only talks the talk. I walk the walk as well. I have people that help me in my businesses. Um, and certainly a saying that I've picked up from one of my business coaches is help, help, help. It's not an SOS. It's not a cry for help. What it is a suggestion that if I help you, you in turn will help somebody else. They in turn will help somebody else. And ultimately, the whole circle will come round and somebody will help me. I never help anybody with the aim of getting help back from somebody. But it is very, very, very true in life that if we help somebody else, ultimately we'll get assistance from other people, because the people that you're networking with, the people that you're around, the people you've built relationships with, will be the sort of people that want to help each other as well.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I like that because I believe that help is like a perfume. As Les Brown said, you cannot sprinkle someone without getting few drop. Even
Uh-huh.
if you don't get few drop, you smell it. So it looks good. I remember one of the day I was spraying someone, and I said, wow, it looks good. So when you help, you feel good, the pleasure.
Yeah,
I love that. And when you said about, for example, you have to buy a property, but if someone else does not buy it, that should not be the end of the world for them. And sometimes it does not look or sound fair when we have to do something. But one day I remember, and my mom was telling me, it's not fair that lion has to eat zebra, but if
hmm
lion does not eat zebra, he will die.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's part of life's rich tapestry. Taking on Disney's words, circle of life, and all that sort of thing. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
yes,
it's
yes.
not that what you do. You don't do things in a nasty way. Let's face it. If the lion doesn't get some food in the first place, the hyenas don't come along to finish it off, and then the vultures don't get the pickings at the end, and all those different things. And the same's true in any aspect of life, um, and in business as well. That yeah, I do something that has a knock-on effect. Somebody else does something different. Sometimes I'm really successful. Other times somebody's more successful than me. I would never feel bad if somebody turned around to me and said, "Actually, Peter, I don't want to be coached by you. I don't think you're the right person for me." I wouldn't. Well, who are you going with? Who are you being coached by instead? Why are they? Why them? I might be interested to find out if there were things that I could have done to improve how I proposed myself to that person as a coach. If there was something in my offering that they didn't like, was I too cheap? Was I too expensive? Um, it's the interesting thing of different people aren't always going to hit it off with everybody. Some people will do better with some people than they will with others. But yeah, it's nice to have a network of people around you. It's nice to have relationships with other people. It's brilliant that people will share their experience of life and business, and give guidance to others, rather than just always having to pay for it and it to be a financial transaction.
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. I do understand you. And one thing I learned when I was young, I relate a lot to a lot of things that I learned when I was young. My mom home is that my mom used to tell me, you have to do what is right. Even though when it does not please everyone around you, you have to do what is right. And she was, because we like being a believer, she always related us to say, even Jesus, he never pleased everyone. So don't worry about pleasing everyone. Do it because it is right. And when you do
Yes.
what is right, the reward will come.
Yeah.
Then this always go in my mind. That's what you said. Now going into your business coaching, and because when I'm talking to many people right now, I see a lot of people. They have very good focus, not focus. So they have very good idea of creating business. They have a plan and everything. But the one thing that stop them moving is the so-called procrastination. And when you Google it, you get more than million results about how to deal with that. But still, many people, they don't achieve their business plan because of that. So in your experience, how to overcome this so-called procrastination?
I've been very much in my past. I've been a terrible positive procrastinator. I could make myself busy all day and never achieve the things that I really needed to achieve that day. I'd done loads, but I'd not done the one or two things that I really needed to do. There was an interesting word that you dropped in there and then took it back out again, because right above my screen here, I have the word focus. And that's written there so that I can see it all the time that I'm working. And it's telling me to focus on what I need to achieve. The scenario that you described is very common in many businesses, that people are maybe procrastinating. Actually, on our self-help Zoom this morning, somebody said that actually procrastinating is just another word for making excuses for not doing what you've done, what you should be doing. Whether that's a little harsh, I don't know, but it's probably true. People get overwhelmed. There can be so many things that they need to be doing in business to make progress, to achieve things, to do what they need to do. And that list of actions can easily be 10 items, 50 items, 100 items, 200 items, 500 items, 500 actions. What the heck am I going to do with 500 actions? I'm overwhelmed. I can't deal with it. And because I can't deal with it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something else, and I'm just going to procrastinate. I'm not actually going to do them at all. We mentioned earlier about keeping things simple. I am very keen on sitting down and saying, okay, what are your goals for this week? What do you need to achieve for this week? Or even further down, what do you need to achieve today? Okay, what one or two, or possibly at the very most 3 actions do you need to take in order to achieve that goal? Now, that goal could be as simple as I need to send an email to the person that I've fallen out with, or I need to pick up the phone and speak to the person that I've fallen out with. That's quite a difficult thing sometimes, to deal with somebody that you've not got a great relationship with. How am I going to do that? That's easily something that most of us would go, I'll procrastinate. I'll not do it. I'll find other things to do because I don't really want to do it. If you put that into your diary and say, from 9:30 till 10 o'clock, I am dealing with that one issue, and I don't stop dealing with that issue until I've done it and achieved it. If that's the big thing I've got to achieve today, forget the other 499 actions that I'd identified that I could do. Do one. Just do one thing. And once you've done that one thing, move on to the next one, and move on to the next one once you've done that, and move on to the next one once you've done that. If you've got too many actions, you can't achieve them. You're overwhelmed. And so what I do when I'm coaching somebody is work keeping things very simple. What are we doing today? What are we doing this week? What are we doing this month? And what do we need to do in order to achieve those in each of those instances? And setting aside time in order to do that is quite important. I'm using more and more the Pomodoro method. I don't know, Edmar, whether you're aware of this, where you set your, many of us working at home, particularly if you're not used to working from home and you've suddenly been put into this situation because of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
you can suddenly find yourself working where you used to work 7 hours in an office and you used to take a bit of a lunch break. You can find yourself working 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18 hours in a day, because you've still got tasks to do. Now, Pomodoro says, okay, I am going to work for 25 minutes, and then I'm going to stop. and I'm going to do something different for 5 minutes. And that something different could be having a stretch, going hanging out the washing, having a breath of fresh air, taking a walk, um, just doing something slightly different, and then coming back again and just refocusing yourself, and then starting your timer again, 25 minutes. And because I'm focused, I can work on a focused basis for 25 minutes, and then I have another 5 minutes doing something else. That 5 minutes can be something silly. You could even be the person that needs to energize yourself again. So you even get up in your office and you have a dance and kind of re-energize yourself, take yourself forwards again, because otherwise the intensity of working for 5, 6, 7 hours and focusing for that time, ultimately the things that you achieve goes down, because you've just not got the capability and capacity to work at the correct intensity throughout all of that time. You've got to take downtime, got to step away, got to take the breaks, got to take a drink.
Okay. So all of the technique you offering is to become more results focused. Yeah. But techniques works. But what about developing accountability mindset?
To start with, most of us need somebody else to keep us accountable. Most of us aren't very good at keeping ourselves accountable. So having an accountability partner, an accountability coach, an accountability group, all of those help, because it's more difficult to kid somebody else that you've done something than kid yourself. I can kid myself very easily. If I come to you and as we did today, it was okay. So how does the setup work and the likes? Had we not done that before we started, we could have got to 2 o'clock and kind of gone, oh crikey, oh no, we're 10 minutes late. Oh, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, because you've put that up that say you're going live at 2 o'clock. So you've got to do your prep, and yeah, you and I kept each other accountable that at 2 o'clock we were ready to go.
So you also believe in the idea that everything matters, because one of the things that I heard people saying is that, don't worry, it is just this task. It doesn't make much sense. But I keep saying it doesn't matter. For example, if you have a car, yes, you can drive your car without one light, but why they put the light in the car? The factory should put only one light. Why they put 4 lights? Because
yes,
they need the 4 lights. So for you, the accountability mindset start with giving value to everything. Am I right?
it is giving value to everything, but it's also prioritizing what is the most important things. Everything's got a value. If it's not got a value, yeah, don't think about it. But if it's got a value, it might be a low priority. It might be low importance. So you're not going to give it quite the same focus as your number one task, which is your highest priority and your most important thing in your life today. That's the thing you're going to give the priority to. That's the thing you really need to be accountable for. And as time passes on, you'll probably find that things from the bottom of that pile that weren't a priority will come up and will become a priority. What you also need to do by accountability is to ensure that you don't do everything on the absolute last minute. So don't wait until it's, oh God, it's such high priority, I've got to do it. Let's get on, do it, and achieve a little bit each day, and make sure that we are focusing on all the things that we need to be achieving.
Mm-hmm. And yes, so yes, now I know why my head is always telling me, yes, you have to eat 1 apple a day. Yes, you have to walk, you have to exercise, because we have to put things in place. If we can have everything, but if you don't have our health in place, it's pointless. And oh, by the way, we are about to reach the end of our interview. We've been 40 minutes. And thanks for everyone watching us. Today we're talking about taking specific action to achieve your business goal. So Peter is business coach and entrepreneur. Peter's given us ideas and how we can improve ourselves. But if you need a deep and structured more information, now you have to contact Peter. And I believe Peter will be more than happy to work with you to see how you both can help each other to reach where you want to be. Peter,
Absolutely, yeah. Just reach out on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You'll find my telephone numbers up there. So if you want to chat, just give me a shout, and we'll see whether there's that synergy there that we can help each other and go forwards together.
yes. So Peter, there's one thing that many people does not value, which for me, I believe it is the greatest asset we have in our life, which is time. So managing time in business, especially when you are self-employed or starting your company, sometimes it's hard because you want to do it. You don't want to stop. So
Yep.
how do you help? How do you help? What strategy you bring about to help managing the time more effectively?
Well, I mentioned the Pomodoro earlier on, but
Mhm.
also making sure that we've got the right time. I'm very keen on assisting the people. Is that somebody ringing to say that they've got a property, or that they would like my coaching? Just put them through. Yeah. How do you deal with time? It's one of those things. Some of us will kind of spend too much time doing too much. We might give away too much time, and sometimes, yeah, I've been guilty of that. I've been guilty of giving too much time to other people for free, which then doesn't allow me to do the work that I need to do. But I work with my coaches to ensure that I'm accountable for my own time, and they hold me accountable for the time I spend. And in exactly the same way, the people that I'm working with, I look at their time. I ensure that they're balancing their family life with and their social lives with their business time, and that they're in a comfortable situation. I've seen a lot of people that have gone the wrong way because they've just thrown too much at their business, and sadly, some might start to have a drink to assist them in that. It could be that they take illegal drugs to try and keep them going. Those are not the right ways of doing it. Manage your time, manage your relationships, manage all of your life. Ensure that your time is valuable to you, and that'll make it a much better life and a much better business.
Mhm. So Peter, we are about to reach, but I've got two questions. Just
Yes.
want to ask you a very
Okay.
quick question. Yes.
Yeah.
So setting up goal is good. All of us we love setting up a goal, and I always advise people set up a goal. But how to set up a achievable goal? Because, for example, if I decide I'm going to buy for example, a 50 property tomorrow, but I don't have cash or I don't have a JV partner to put cash on place to buy it, he might be some kind of craziness instead of a goal. So how
Yeah.
do you define setting up a achievable goal?
There's a difference between visualizing where we'd like to be, and that might be to have 50 properties, and setting a realistic goal on a timely basis. You're not going to get 50 properties tomorrow. Even if you just won the lottery, it's going to be difficult to get 50 properties tomorrow. So you've got to keep it realistic. Yes, it's good that it's a specific goal, but it's got to be realistic in the time band that you've got. And that's accounting for all the different things. It might be, yes, that you don't have finance in place for all of those. Okay, so build into that goal how we're going to find the finance. Um, we've got to look at it. Is it achievable? Can we do it in that time? Is it measurable? Is it something that we can say, yes, I have achieved that? It would be wrong to say I'm going to get lots of properties by tomorrow. Lots. What's lots? Lots to one person could be 2. Lots to another person could be 100. So we've got to be specific, but realistic, and make sure that we understand that we can achieve that goal at the same time visualizing the fact that, yeah, in a few years' time, as Del Boy would say in Only Fools and Horses, this time next year, Rodney, will be millionaires. He doesn't say this time tomorrow we'll be millionaires. He's always looking forwards and saying, okay, when can I achieve that by?
Mm-hmm. So you just added to what I believe, that reaching to your success is not about the time; it's about what you do. Because I had this mindset when I was young. When I get 18, I will have this, this, this. So I thought to myself that getting 18 was the turning point or clock to get everything. But when I started reading, happily, I changed my mind before I get 18. So maybe I would have like, that was kind of like disappointment, because being 18 is not the door for success. It's just being 18, depending on what you do. So my last question to you is, right now, under this challenging time, under this all of this pandemic, everything we are living in, is this the right time to start into coaching business or finding a coach? If it is, what advice would you like to give anyone before they look for a coach or before they think about start coaching?
It's absolutely the right time to start looking for a coach, considering a coach, considering starting the business. There really couldn't be a better time. Situation is great for anybody who wishes to achieve right now. Make use of all the free education that's available on the internet. There is so much free learning, whether that be that you're trying to get into property as a business, whether that be that you're trying to get into online selling as a business. There is an abundance of free coaching and advice available on the internet. But then also build your network, speak to different people, find out who benefits from different people, who they think is a good coach, what they deliver for them, and speak to people. As I said right at the start, we've got to build the relationship. If the relationship's not good between the entrepreneur and the coach, it's not going to work. So work with people that you get on with, but you know will also take you forwards and keep you accountable for all those actions you need to take.
Okay, Peter, thanks for your time. Thanks for giving us a lot of good and valuable information. Now it's down to us to use them and apply them to our life, because knowledge without application makes no difference. So myself and my team, we want to say thanks for what you're giving us, and we look forward to bring you back near future to our program to share with us some of the achievements, some of the new lessons we can learn special for the time coming.
Well, thank you really very much for having me on. I hope, because one of my big things in life is helping other people, I hope that some of the people that have seen this have found it helpful, that they've got some takeaways that they can use in their business, in their life. And I'd really welcome the opportunity to come back on again and have another chat in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, Peter, thanks for your time. Continuation of a good day.
All the best.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye. It was great talking to Peter. Peter is a business coach and entrepreneur. A lot of knowledge, a lot of experience to help us to reach where we want to be in our life. So the program today was just to help you, give you a glimpse idea of what you can do, some action you can take today to help you to reach where you want to be in your life, especially in business field. But the business is just a reflection of what we do every day. So this program is all about shaping our mindset, special exploring entrepreneurship and the leadership mindset. For today, thanks for your time. We will be back on Sunday, but Sunday will be Portuguese video. So if you don't speak Portuguese, it's a great opportunity for you to learn Portuguese for free. If you do speak Portuguese, join us, and we will bring someone who can share with us lessons that help us to be better every single day. Thanks, and see you Sunday.